Hey gang, I am Jay. Welcome to Homemade Heroes. Today I am going to be responding to a request that one of our watchers made in the comments to one of my other videos. They asked if I could do a feature on some of the other playable races from Dungeons and Dragons. This includes the Tortle, the Leonin, Tritons, and also particularly important for this watcher is the Kenku. Across the front, we have the Kenku on the left, followed by the Tritons, the Drow, the Tabaxi, and the Leonin. And then back on the left side, we have the Tortles in the back row, and then quite a number of Warforged or automatons. Let's take a look at our first figures up close. Here we have our Kenku, and as you can see, I've leaned pretty heavily on the Chima birds here. I've got a torso, head, helmet or headpiece, and the wings, all from the Chima minifigure. I have used a different leg piece down here, which has got some little flecks on it that look almost like feathers, so I kind of like that. As you can see, the headpiece comes off, and you could have it like that, but I really like the effect that this headpiece provides. It has that really characteristic raven or crow-like beak, and I think that's really important for the Kenku look. So that's one of the Kenkus. The other Kenku here I have done without the wings and without the headpiece over the top of the head itself. Still looks good. I've used a completely different body, torso, and legs here. They are from Pirates of the Caribbean set, and I've got this kind of ragged cape, which I think with the hood makes this minifigure look like a rogue. Next we have our Tritons. As you can see here, I've outfitted this Triton as a warrior of some sort. I've got this cool helmet. I've made this trident-like weapon here, which is simply Loki's staff with one of the Ninjago pieces there. Under the helmet, we have a green head, which matches the body. The body itself, the torso piece here, came from a Pirates of the Caribbean set, one of the undead. It has a great print on the front there, and a little bit of printing on the back, which you can't see because of the armor, but that's a really cool piece to give it that marine-like feel. I've also added this little armor shoulder piece and a pretty cool shield. For our female Triton, a little simpler here. I've just gone with black hair and this robed body, all in the green of the Triton's body. And she is holding onto a trident. Next we have the infamous Drow. Drow are pretty difficult to make in LEGO as there are not a lot of good heads in black coloration with suitable faces printed on them. This is about the best that I've got, and I don't actually recall where that headpiece is from. But as you can see, we have the characteristic white hair and black skin. Got black hands there. This particular Drow is made to look like some sort of a wizard, or a spellcaster at least, holding onto a wand, and this really cool sand hourglass. This Drow minifigure I made to be Drizzt. Now, as you can see, the face print there on the black head is really not as nice as that previous one. There's just too much going on there. It has a kind of almost robotic look. I do like the hairpiece on this one, and I think I've really done a good job at making this look like Drizzt as far as his twin scimitars, the mithril mail, and the green forest-like look of his clothing and the cloak that he's wearing. This first Tabaxi minifigure is in fact from the LEGO Collectible Minifigures series, and it's pretty cool. It definitely looks more like a house cat with the collar and the little paw print on it, so not perfect. I replaced the head with a Chima head, so it's got this double-sided Chima head from one of the Chima minifigures, and I think when you put that over the top, the eye shape comes through those holes in the mask, quite well. Our second Tabaxi is quite different. The headpiece here is from Lego Harry Potter, and I have just paired that up with sort of a brown top and then some pants that I like the look of. I was able to match the color of the satchel and the color of the pants. I think that works out well. And in this case, they are meant to be a rogue, wielding these sickle-like weapons. Next are our Leonin. Leonin are lion-like humanoids in Dungeons & Dragons 5e. And you can see this one has some rings or speckling on the body. It's more of perhaps a leopard type cat, but I think it works pretty well. The shape of the headpiece is really reminiscent of a female lion, a lioness's head. And on this Leonin figure, I've added a golden breastplate and then outfitted them with this magical war axe. As usual, the Chima minifigures have double-sided heads, and this is pretty much just the Chima minifigure with some bits added on, so that's a really easy one to put together. Back to Chima we go for the next Leonin. Now this one you can see has more of that saber-tooth look. The minifigure this came from is definitely a more raw looking minifigure. We've got some chains on the side there and then fur missing on the inside there. I'm not really a Chima follower, so I don't know too much about the storyline for these. The torso here is also from the Chima minifigure. I've added this armor shoulder piece. The legs are from a Lego Collectible Minifigures minifigure, which I believe was a gladiator of some sort. And so you have these kind of like leather straps as if they're wearing some sort of leather skirt. The dark tan of the legs works well with the dark tan of the body. And I've built a small golden scythe for their weapon. Our last minifigures of the animal type humanoids here is the Tortles. So this is a small turtle that I made for a game that I was playing in last year. And as you can see here, I've used a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle minifigure piece for the most part. It's got the, this is a great piece to have for turtles, the shell back. The torso color is great. He's wearing pants. Yes, thank you to the folks that noted that some of the minifigures that I had built in the past looked to be running around naked. Thank you, Michelangelo, for providing the head for this turtle. Our second turtle here is also a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, but from the more recent movie series. And so it has kind of a darker, grimmer look than that cheerful Michelangelo minifigure head. I really like the fact it's got this leather skirt type piece on here that really fits well with a Dungeons & Dragons setting. The dark green works great, and again they've got that shell piece on the back. And for this minifigure I've outfitted them with a glaive weapon, which is a very cool piece. And finally we have our Warforged. Now some of these Warforged I think look a little more like automatons, but who's to say exactly what a Warforged versus an automaton looks like? The first character here has pieces from a range of different Lego themes. The torso is from a Marvel minifigure, I believe. I'm not sure about the legs. The head is from DC, from Superman. And to try and match with the colors on the front, I just used a translucent blue headpiece underneath. And that works great with the little blue highlights that come through on the torso. And in their hands they are dual welding energy weapons. Our next Warforged is rocking an energy shield and has been outfitted with this huge blade that they have instead of a hand on that side. I believe this torso piece is also from a Marvel set, but I'm not too sure about that. The head is from the Lego movie. Here's our next Warforged, and taking the head piece off, or the helmet piece off here, again I've used that translucent head, this time red, and I think that kind of fits well with the torso, the little bits of red on the torso you see. The torso is from Marvel Lego, while the legs I'm not so sure about. The sword here, which looks really cool as an energy weapon, is from Lego Ninjago. Next we have a minifigure that has a clockwork look to it and is holding a more antiquated looking projectile weapon or firearm. I added this helmet piece on over the top, but I think this minifigure works really well with just the head that is provided. All this fits really well as an automaton or a Warforged, and that helmet there just breaks up that color of the minifigure and makes it a little more warlike looking. The majority of this Warforged minifigure is from a Ninjago set. They are, I believe there's some sort of species of androids or robots, but these minifigures have a lot of these metallic and robotic-like looking pieces on them. The armor over the top of the torso here is from the previously mentioned DC Superman theme, and the helmet that I used in a previous minifigure would actually fit on over this armor piece. If we take a look at the back, we've again got some cool looking robotic pieces there, nice metallic looking arm, and then a very cool looking sword, also from Ninjago. This is the last of the Warforged that I built myself. The torso is from Marvel, I believe, but I'm not too sure about that. The headpiece is once again from the Lego movie, and the legs, well, who knows. I like the dull light grey coloration of this torso and legs with a little bit of silver on there. And again, an energy weapon that I built for this Warforged. The final two Warforged or automaton type minifigures here are pre-builts that I've made no changes to whatsoever. These come in I believe it's Galaxy Police, quite an old Lego series. But these minifigures are great if you want a simple way to get an automaton or Warforged, and you could outfit them with any kind of weapon that you like. That brings us to the end of that video, folks. Thank you to @SilverScribe85 for your request. Really happy to have a chance to put those minifigures together, and hopefully you and everybody else watching this video enjoyed seeing those. If you have any questions or comments, folks, please feel free to put them down below, and farewell for now.